Get a wife. You didn't see I mean, get a wife, brother.
Yeah. I didn't come to your meeting on Friday, but see you there. If he doesn't ask a question, I'll give him a line.
Is it red? Is it red now?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you put back one.
Yeah, it was already. That's why we do surgery.
On the way here. I was like, everybody go at the same time, I guess. Yeah, that traffic, yeah. Amazing.
We'll call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the City of Callaway Board of Commissioners. It is Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. It's 6 p.m. If y'all will stand with me, Commissioner Burnsell, will you do the invocation? Commissioner Burns, please lead us in the pledge.
Thank you, God, for allowing us to meet together, Lord. I thank you for our health and our safety. I thank you for all the citizens of Callaway that are able to come out tonight, Lord. I pray that as we go through this meeting, Lord, that you would help us to represent our citizens, represent our morals, our values, God. And I pray that you would just continue blessing and watching over us. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk, please roll your call.
Commissioner Rosell,
Here.
Commissioner Green,
Here.
Commissioner Ayers,
Here, ma'am.
Mayor Henderson.
Here.
Just for the record, Commissioner Pelletier is absent.
Okay, we have a presentation tonight. I think that's Deputy Martin will do the Bay County Sheriff's Office February 15th.
Good afternoon. For the month of February, we have 1,045 calls for service, 23,369 miles patrolled, total of 40 arrests, 214 traffic stops, 141 citations, and 27 accidents. And with our accidents, we had 8 parking lots, and the total of 20 non-parking lot crashes, 3 of which were at Tyndall Parkway and 22, and 3 were at Cherry Street and Tyndall Parkway. And the majority of those were for failure to yield the right of way.
See, the citations, well, somebody was busy.
It's been a busy couple of months, I just want to tell you.
Well, thank you, Deputy Martin. Okay, we've got a couple proclamations. I see somebody is here from the Red Cross to accept this proclamation. Let me go ahead and read it from up here, and then I'll bring it down and I'll present it to you. Okay, City of Callaway proclamation. Whereas in March we celebrate American Red Cross Month by honoring our neighbors who make its humanitarian mission possible in Callaway. Every day their acts of kindness change lives, bringing relief, comfort, and hope when help cannot wait. This compassionate spirit runs deep in our community, just as it has for 145 years through the American Red Cross. Whereas today, those who serve with the Northwest Florida chapter light the way during emergencies, whether it's delivering shelter, food, and comfort after disasters, providing a safe, life-saving blood supply for patients facing conditions like cancer treatments, childbirth complications, and traumatic injuries, assisting military members, veterans, and their families with 24/7 global support, or empowering individuals with skills like first aid and CPR that save lives. Whereas these collective efforts are a powerful reminder that the strength of our community lies in our shared commitment to one another. As we mark Red Cross Month, let us celebrate our local heroes and resolve to continue lifting each other up so no one faces an emergency alone. Now, therefore, I, Pam Henderson, Mayor of the City of Callaway, Florida, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the laws of Bay County and Florida, do hereby proclaim March 2026 as Red Cross Month. And if you would, sir, tell the city clerk your name so we have you on the record.
Yeah, Steve Dixon, D-I-X-O-N.
So, take a picture. So he'll take a picture of us to make everything official. We appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and then we have second proclamation. I'll get my pages turned here. City of Callaway proclamation. Whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. And whereas American women have played and continue to play critical economic, cultural, and social roles in every sphere of the life of the nation by constituting a significant portion of the labor force working inside and outside of the home. And whereas American women have played a unique role throughout the history of the nation by providing the majority of the volunteer labor force of the nation, as well as the establishment of early charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions in our nation. And whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background served as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change movement. And whereas American women have been leaders not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and other movements, especially the peace movement, which created a more fair and just society for all. And whereas despite these contributions, the role of American women in history has been consistently overlooked and undervalued in the literature, teaching, and study of American history. Now, therefore, I, Pam Henderson, Mayor of the City of Callaway, Florida, do hereby recognize the month of March 2026 as Women's History Month. And as part of Women's History Month, I'd like to recognize many of the women who work in our city. We have several women that are in leadership roles in our city, starting with our city clerk, Ashley Rohick.
Yeah.
Our Code Enforcement Director, Bonnie Fry. Our Human Resources Director, Emma Ford. And our Utility Billing Director, Lisa Mayo. And while we're talking about Lisa and utility billing, I just want to let everybody know, in the month of February, we had the lowest number of cutoffs since at least 2017. And since the city manager started here in 2017, we had the lowest number of cutoffs since then. We had 137 cutoffs. Now, you have to remember, this is on what, approximately 10,000 accounts now that we have utility accounts?
Officially, last week, we reached the 10,000 mark.
So we had 137 on 10,000 accounts. And you figure back in 2017, we had 6,000, and we had a lot more cutoffs on those 6,000 than we now have on the 10,000. And it's because Lisa and her staff up front, they keep improving the processes for cutoffs and notifications so that we're having fewer and fewer cutoffs. So they need to be commended for that. We have some other women in the city, and we've got Deputy Martin over here representing Bay County Sheriff's Office. So she's another strong leader for our city. I know some of you ladies, you're not here, but I know you're watching, so thank you for what you do for the city. Okay, and we will go on now to the mayor's instructions. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No.
Okay. And just to review very briefly the public participation rules, when I call for public input, now you can speak, on each one of the agenda items if you so choose. And then at the end, we have public participation for non-agenda. But all you need to do when I call for public participation, raise your hand. Once you're recognized, come up to the podium. You can state your name and address for the record if you so choose. But at that point, your 3 minutes start, so you have 3 minutes for your item. Like I said, you can speak on each one, so you can have 3 minutes on each agenda item and 3 minutes on a non-agenda item. So with that, we will go on to the approval of the minutes. We've got the minutes of the February 10th, 2026 regular meeting. Oh, no, it says February, it's actually the February 24th minutes. It just didn't get changed on here. So we've got the February 24th meeting minutes. So does anybody have any corrections to the minutes? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion, there's a second. If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Then the financial statements are there for your review.
I did, note a couple things, but, they're just anomalies and I passed.
So we're just, while we're talking, while we're at the financial statements, I read, it's a routine every year. I meet with the auditors because they had to, ask questions of the mayor. And they said the auditor's going, well, things are pretty close to wrapping up. As always, we're waiting for the joint venture. So as soon as the joint venture gets in, they'll be able to wrap up the audit and hopefully have it done by the end of the month like we shoot for. So we will go on now to our first agenda item. These two items are under a public hearing, so we will open the public hearing. And the first item is ordinance number 138, small scale comp plan amendment, 5028 and 5030E 4th Street.
The second final reading of ordinance number 1138, an ordinance amending the comprehensive plan of the city of Callaway, acting upon the application of Ryan and Christina Ransberg, designating for commercial future land use certain parcels of land lying within the city of Callaway, Florida, consisting of approximately 0.302 more or less acres. Said parcel is located at 5028 and 5030 East 4th Street, Callaway, Florida. Parcel ID is 24448000000 and 24448010000, as more particularly described in the body of the ordinance. Amending the city's future land use map for commercial designation for the parcels, repealing ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing that this ordinance shall take effect as provided by law.
City manager.
Mr. President, any changes?
As requested, we did receive a letter of authorization from Ms. Eilers to allow Mr. Rasberg to rezone the property. In the package attached. Other than that, nothing's changed.
Anybody else, or anybody have any questions?
No, and seeing that authorization, I have no problems anymore.
Nobody has anything? Anybody in the audience want to comment on this item? Not seeing anybody? Would someone like to make a motion on the small scale comp plan amendment?
Motion to approve ordinance number 1138, small scale comp plan amendment for 5028 and 5030 East 4th Street, parcel IDs.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, city clerk?
Commissioner Bertha,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Ayers,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Henderson.
Yes. Okay, we will go on to item number 2, ordinance number 1139, which is the rezoning of the property located at 5028 and 5030 East 4th Street.
Right, this is the second final reading of the related item, ordinance number 1139, an ordinance rezoning from R6M residential single-family mobile homes allowed to highway commercial certain parcels of land lying within the city of Callaway, Florida, consisting of approximately 0.302 more or less acres. Said parcel is located at 5028 and 5030 East 4th Street, Callaway, Florida. Parcel ID is 24448000000 and 24448010000. All is more particularly described in the body of the ordinance, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing that this ordinance shall take effect immediately upon passage.
Anything on city manager?
Also, the change for the previous one, this is just rezoning to match the complement.
Anybody have any? No questions. Did anybody in the audience have any comment on this item? Not seeing anybody, we just need a motion, gentlemen.
Motion to approve ordinance 1139, rezoning the property located at 5028 and 5030 East 4th Street. And the parcel IDs are 24448-000-000 and 24448-010-000.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? And if not, city clerk?
Commissioner Griggs,
Yes.
Commissioner Ayers,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Bertha,
Yes.
Mayor Henderson.
Yes. Okay, we will close the public hearing and we will go on to agenda item number 3. Ordinance number 1140, rezoning of property located at 5,000 block of Jennifer Street. Or shall I give you say?
I think my summary says final reading, but it's actually first reading, right?
Yes.
Okay, just clarify. Ordinance number is the first reading, ordinance number 1140, an ordinance rezoning from residential multifamily medium density residential to single family R5, certain parcels of land lying within the city of Callaway, Florida, consisting of approximately 1.912 more or less acres. Said parcel is located on Whitaker Street, Callaway, Florida. Parcel ID 24393010010. All is more particularly described in the body of the ordinance. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing that this ordinance shall take effect immediately upon passage.
Mr. Fry?
Mr. Martin, on behalf of Rizzi Development LLC, is requesting this rezoning. I did get a letter of authorization for this one. It's simply to change it from residential multifamily to residential single family, individual lots with houses, does allow for a 5,000 square foot lot.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Hall?
The only thing I remember from the planning board, there was concerns about access to the property. That's more maybe along the lines of the development phase of Graythorne.
Yes, sir.
Not figuring out how to get there.
Yeah, the design allows for 2 access points. Right now, we have a dead end at Douglas, which are Fire Chief hates. So we'll be eliminating that, and I'm sure they're gonna come out on Whitaker also. There's some preliminary thoughts about that, but nothing's for sure. But the development over stage will take care of all that.
Yeah, we drove by and looked at that today, the city manager and I, and it looks like it's gonna be just fine.
Did you have something, Commissioner Briggs? You look like you had a question.
No, actually, more of a comment. We kind of look at things when we can go into, let's say, stick-built homes rather than mobile homes. That's, we kind of consider that an improvement. But this is also an improvement from going from multifamily to single family. This is another thing that citizens have been looking more at homes than apartments and that type of thing. So this is a positive, what I'm seeing.
Anything else for Mr. Shaw? Did anybody in the audience have any comments on this item? Yes, ma'am.
Karen Custer, 216 Lundy Road Drive. I guess the thing that we looked at when we drove out there is the adjoining lots, all this property up here that's green, that's all zoned R8. And I would expect that you rezoned this parcel here, that you would try to be consistent with what you already have in the area. Those lots, these lots up here have an average size of 12,850 square feet. So when you build homes on 5,000 square foot lots, the dollar per square feet selling price of those houses is going to be lower. It's going to lower the benchmark dollar per square foot price of houses right in that area. And so these here, you're going to lower the selling prices of these because you're building small houses here that adjoin those. You're going to have more decreased privacy, even of the houses that are R8. You're going to increase the noise, increase the traffic, and with that, a lot of times comes increase the crime in the area. And this also conflicts with the comprehensive plan goal of a safe environment. The only one who benefits from rezoning to R5 instead of R8 is a developer. because he can sell 16 homes perhaps instead of 10 homes. The citizens don't benefit from that benefit, it's just the developer does. So I hope, I know you always rubber stamp these things and you don't ever say no, at least that I've seen, but I think sometimes you really need to consider, does this conform to what's already in the area? Instead of just saying, oh yeah, somebody wants to build, let's let them build whatever they want to build. Our houses, the last one that you approved, they were building 33-foot wide homes on 45-foot lots. That had one side, the setback is 5 feet, the other side is 7 feet. So if you had a boat, you would never be able to park your boat in the backyard because your truck could not pull your boat through a 7-foot opening. You could also, your boat wouldn't fit through there. So your boats will all be in the front yard. If you have a truck longer than 20 feet, which is pretty much every full-size truck, is going to protrude into the street. And so these are things that you haven't been thinking about when you approve all of these, that they're not good for the people who buy them. Thank you.
Anybody else want to comment? Not seeing anybody. Any more?
Yeah, I'd like to respond a little bit to that. Thanks for your input. But if you'll notice, all the ones in green, not all of them are RA. Some of those have been subdivided. And the houses along Douglas and Whitaker and Bob Little are mostly duplexes. So they're double family dwellings. And other than building behind 1, 2, 3, 4 of those lots, I know it's woods right now, but we all have to put up new housing. And I'm sure you can take care of that with privacy fences and so forth. So, but thank you for your input. That's all.
Anybody else?
Actually, those houses on Collins, those properties, we've actually been involved in allowing the division of some of those lots because they're old lots and old properties, and the experience of what's come before us in the last 6 to 8 years, particularly after the hurricane, is the people wanting to divide up the properties to either change it from full residential to active apartments, or in the cases here, like the Commissioner was bringing up, divide up the properties. Being old, we don't have, and I think the developers don't have many people that are saying, I want a acre or 2 or 3 acre pieces of property. It's actually going the reverse. The same thing as what we're seeing on, with the possibility of what's coming up on Highway 22 and what's going to be backing up to the properties on Bicycle. Those wide properties are going, we've actually gotten the information that some of those properties, when all this comes about, they're going to divide up. They don't want that much property.
People don't want yards and things nowadays to have to maintain. They want minimum amount of property. They want smaller houses because that's more affordable. They don't want a bigger house on a bigger lot because that costs more money.
I think we're a stickler on the rules. I don't think we've rubber stamped anything.
No.
No.
I think that we have a lot of experience up here. I'm not one with a lot of experience, but some experience. But we have a lot of experience up here, and they know to ask the questions, and it does educate the rest of us at the same time. I appreciate Commissioner Briggs, our mayor, and of course our city manager, Bill Fry. I know they've been around for a long time. So thank you.
Anybody else have any comment? Yes, Mr. Shane.
Ron Shaner, 1611 Cabin Circle. One thing about these smaller lots, if you get with a neighbor that think you gotta burn everything, you know, they're right there next to you and they're smoke every place and they're burning their plastic bags and their garbage. I have one such neighbor and, anyway, why, you know, you might not like their music, you know, they may wanna practice their drums or hear their boom boxes or something. I got another neighbor that loves their boom box. Seems to get it fired up about Sunday noon. But, you know, I mean, it's disgusting sometimes when you put people too close together. They got some bad habits.
Yeah.
And the burn thing, I don't think should be allowed to do this. I mean, it just,
They shouldn't be doing, you need to maybe call the fire department. when
oh,
you're
about
not-
8 o'clock one cool evening here. I mean, it was still. The neighbor, house filling up with smoke. I checked everything and looked and,
Can't
and
they
it
call
was
the,
stinking smoke.
They can call us and we'll go
yeah, call the
investigate.
fire department.
Well,
when they
this was
start.
Sunday evening, about 8 o'clock, it was dark, and I looked out and I seen fire back there, and I let him know what I thought about it. They said he was about done. I told him that's why they have trash pickup.
That's the good thing about the fire department, there's always somebody there. It doesn't matter if it's Sunday night or Saturday morning, you call and let them
I'd like to
take
see
care.
some kind of ban on open burning. I mean, it just, another one, you know, he likes to scrap wire, you know, he'll burn off that old plastic insulation once in a while. And, you know, I mean, but anyway, well,
Call them,
that's all I got.
call the fire department, Mr.
Bill?
Shaner, because those things are illegal.
There's a code against, burning, you know, we burn leaves and that kind of thing, but as far as household garbage, in their code against that?
Absolutely. If he's burning wire, that's a crime.
No.
We need to know the address.
Every time he does it, I'll get it.
Which neighbor is that, Ron?
On the corner of,
You're 2 houses down from the corner, right?
well, the neighbor directly behind me, he's the one that likes to burn there, you know. The one across from him there on Lakewood, you know, stuff, lawnmowers and stuff. Once in a while there, he likes to, you know, get his wire and all that stuff burned. I guess he sells copper wire or something. I'm not happy about it when I smell it.
Call.
I call him a lot of stuff.
Anybody else with a comment? Not seeing anybody, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 1140, rezoning of property located at 5000 block of Whitaker Street, parcel ID number 24393-010-010, first reading.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, city clerk?
Commissioner Ayers,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Bristol,
Yes.
Commissioner Griggs,
Yes.
Mayor Hicks.
Yes. Okay, we will go on to item number 4. Variance from the City of Callaway Code of Ordinances to allow livestock. Don't have anything to read this time.
That's what I was tabled last time.
Yes. City manager, did you want to say anything about this?
Well, I wasn't here at the last meeting, unfortunately. Right, Mr. Bill, did you handle this?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Bill, come on.
Yes, he did.
Mr. Bill.
All right, so this was tabled at the last meeting, upon a request for the code enforcement complaint information. That information has been added to the packet. It's the first couple pages in on a detailed report. I'll point out that the complainant also signed a temporary livestock permit. Mrs. Bowen kind of made up I think she went around and had some signatures as she was making friends with the neighbors. Have any questions, I'll answer them the best I can. The forms are here.
So if we approve this, it's a variance for 14 months or until you guys leave.
Yes, sir.
So I'm personally good with that.
The variance would be very specific on the animals, the individual animals. They couldn't add any more. And that's also for a limited period of time.
If you decide to stay, the animals would have to do.
Well,
We
we can't
you
stay,
can't,
use our, yes.
you can't be asking her questions, she's gotta be up here, she's gotta be speaking.
I'm kind of with my thoughts.
Yeah. Did anybody have any question or anything?
But they've already submitted the orders. They gotta get it.
Thank you.
There are two things in violation here. Number one is the livestock. Number two is the quantity. Because they only allow 4. And how many do they have?
More than 4.
9.
How many?
9.
9.
So the chickens don't count.
I'm just counting the animals. Just here.
And that's really a problem. And very honestly, they have good grounds for the realtor, the one that's involved with this. Property owners should have done their own due diligence, but the realtor actually advertised that this was allowed. And this is, is part of the advertisement. Now, personally, I have received a call from, say, the realty organization because I hit them pretty hard at the last meeting. And I'm not changing my views on the agent and the broker involved in this because they sold these people definitely misrepresentation, the whole bill of goods. And I'm actually very disappointed that the people involved here are almost taking that situation as well, that's the way it is, and I don't blame the realtor and that kind of that's kind of irritating me. I'm sitting up here blaming the realtor for selling the bill of goods, and the people are not, don't have the same attitude. So, and they definitely have a legal attitude, I just have a voice. So, it's put us in a position, and as I told CPAR when they were talking to me that, don't appreciate us being put in a position of having to, put a little history to approval of 2 separate, situations involving our codes. So, later on, somebody might think that, not remember that, well, this is just 14 months and all the history of illness and everything else. That's the way it is, but, I'm making my statement because I want to make sure that if we approve this, that, at least it's not going to be approved by me again. And I would hope that the property owners do take some action on this. But that's all I've got to say.
What was the PCS date? What month?
You're right.
July, so PCS no later than, he has to start work no later than July 7th of 2027. So we'll be moving in June of 2027.
I knew it was written on one of these pages.
Yes, sir.
A lot.
Right. I believe it's the last page.
And looking at the people that signed this note, not familiar with it because we've had a lot of issues with your property now, after the hurricane involving trees and other things over there. So I've been very personally involved in that, and some of these people have been involved in it. So you've got some very good neighbors.
Yes, sir.
So in respect of them and the whole situation and what I can do and not do, I'm going to approve this when we take a vote.
Anybody up here have anything? Did anybody in the audience want to comment on this? Yes, ma'am.
So I know y'all are gonna approve this too, but that's how it goes. My heart goes out to the Bournes who give so much back to the community because a real estate agent did a poor job checking facts about the house they purchased. However, as Commissioner Griggs said, every real estate contract requires that the buyers check the facts themselves, referred to as performing due diligence, before closing a real estate transaction. This house is within the city limits of Callaway, so the buyers and the agent should have checked with the city of Callaway regarding keeping livestock, not just with Bay County. However, as Mayor Henderson stated earlier, the rules are the rules. The commission should not set the precedent of giving residents permission to violate section 4-8, keeping livestock or fowl within the city limits. They have 9 animals, 3 goats, 3 sheep, 2 pigs, and alpaca. There will be endless protests from other residents in the future who want to keep just 1 cow, or 1 goat, or 1 horse. What are you going to say to them? Well, no, it was okay for her. She had 9 of them, that was okay. But it's not okay for you to keep 1 cow or goat or horse. That's not fair. Jennifer already stated that she was willing to board the animals elsewhere. Unfortunately, that is what needs to be done. They may be able to get monetary relief by filing a complaint about the listing agent, Vienna Seaman, with the title company where they sign the final documents, with the Florida Real Estate Commission and Coldwell Banker Carroll Realty. They could use the funds to help pay the boarding expenses of the animals. So I recommend that you vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to comment?
Hello, I'm Jennifer Bourne. As far as doing our due diligence, there is a page in there. We did ask our realtor. She said she did call Bay County and also the city of Callaway. So we had that, confirmation from her. And then we also looked at our deed, which is in there, and it says SFR land use, and then it says land use type, and it says capital A, capital C. I Googled in the state of Florida, what does capital A, capital C stand for regarding SFR land use? And it says Agriculture Commission / agriculture. When I spoke to the Bay County planning man, he explained to me that they use AC as acreage. So it was an honest to goodness, if I assumed, why would I assume anything else? Like I did check what AC meant, and as far as I was, Google says Agriculture Commission, which I included in that, so I truly didn't dig in. Is there another option that might possibly be the same thing as this acronym? So I truly didn't think that I had to do any more digging when it says AC, but as now since this has happened, I have since Googled, and it says it can also be used as acreage. So it's honest to goodness, truly a misunderstanding on my part, truly. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Martin Wasser, 6303 Wallace Road. So I love animals. I hope that you guys approve a variance for this, especially if it's a limited time. I get it that there have been people that don't want to set historical precedents, but that's fine. It's a variance. It's not too bad of a thing. If we are going to, as a community, say that that's not possible, that they're not allowed to board those things, that's ridiculous. I can't afford to board my dogs. I can't afford to board my dogs. I'm fighting pancreatic cancer right now. I can't afford to board my dogs so my wife can go to UAB while I have my procedure. So you know what I did? I pushed it off until May. That's ridiculous to ask these people to board their animals for that long. Ridiculous. There's no reason that people can't say, okay, have an alpaca. His name's Arthur. It's on the paperwork. It's amazing. I live by the goats. We had a bad situation. We only have like 4 goats now. Everybody knows where the goats are. And yes, maybe there were some that were, in bad need of care, and others would take care of those. But people miss the goats. I don't know if y'all talk to anybody about the goats. People miss the goats, And it's not like they have a petting zoo and you can go feed Arthur, but it's an amazing thing. And there's no reason why, if it's until like everybody, moves out of Callaway because they're mad at Arthur, it's ridiculous. I wake up every day and I gotta hear this freaking rooster, okay? Wallace, 6303 Wallace Road. I don't know where this guy's coming from. He's super annoying, I've never heard, I've driven that area. I've never heard anything. These stupid doves make this weird noise. I can't they make a noise and they're loud. We don't have to have a permit for these doves. These squirrels that are in my backyard always making these noises. But to ask them to board their animals, it's ridiculous. I say that there should be no reason why they're not allowed. I get they're over their number, they have however many, they're supposed to have a certain number. It's okay, they're leaving, and maybe I'll be up here asking for a variance because Arthur's gonna hang out with me. I don't know how much food he needs, but since the goats ain't there, maybe people will drop off food to feed Arthur. I get angry, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anybody? Gentlemen, someone like to make a motion?
I'll make one more comment. I did mention CPAR. And for those of you who do not know what CPAR is, that is the Bay County Association of Realtors. And that's Central Panhandle Association of Realtors, what CPAR is. But in a very lengthy conversation with them, and remembering some of the things that have happened nationally over the years, I'm going to use a phrase that was used a few years ago. This situation became kind of a teaching moment. No beer involved, anything else, but it's a teaching moment that maybe a little wake-up call to some of the realtors, because they got over 2,000 realtors in the Central Panhandle, So I'm hopeful that CPAR will help awaken some of those 2,000 in this. And anyway, just want to bring that up, and I think they will. So.
Anyone else?
Bring for motion. Motion to approve variance from the City of Callaway Court of Ordinances to allow livestock. Second for a limited period.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So you have your 14-month variance. You don't have to board your animals.
Just can't get any middle. We will go on now to item number 5, discussion of the 4th of July celebration. Would you like to address this? It's Mr. Pelletier's.
Yeah, Commissioner Pelletier put this on the agenda for discussion, and staff has had multiple conversations about the 4th of July celebration that we had. Of course, last year, it was in the middle of the day. It was extremely hot. We had very poor turnout. We're going to have another issue this year, just off the fact that the 4th is on Saturday, and most of the community celebrations are going to be happening on the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. As I know, we looked at a potential drone show, and I think the cheapest prices we got were about $30,000, was it? Yeah, somewhere around $30,000 for a, what is it, 20-minute show, 30-minute show?
11 minutes.
Like 11 minutes. Okay, that's a lot per minute there. Yeah.
3,000.
Yeah, 3,000 minutes. Okay, so, we're back to, I'm not gonna hold anything back. Staff is adamantly against the 4th of July celebration. We are already taking multiple holidays away from staff, and this is a family holiday. And so, we just need direction. We will follow whatever this commission so chooses to do. We don't know when we would want to have it, unless we want to try to have it during the day again, but we're going to be dealing with hot temperatures. Do we have it a week before? That means you're going to be having it in June.
Well, it's just, we never used to do anything 4th of July. It's just, I think, the last 2 years that we've done a 4th of July, we never did anything before that.
2 or 3.
Huh?
I think it was 3.
3?
It is 3.
But I know
Yeah,
it's just been in recent years. We didn't used to do anything 4th of July, because I know Lynn Haven does the parade and they have a lot going on. Panama City used to have a lot at the marina. I don't know what Panama City does now. They still do. So, I mean, those things attract more people. But it was, last year, people came, they ate hot dogs and stuff, and then they were like, it's too hot, and they left. And I think we were doing from 10 to 2, but by noon, most everybody was gone.
Yeah, I think the taxpayers would appreciate a break, so. I think with all the other celebrations throughout Panama City and the beach and everything, I think we're covered.
Yeah.
If we want to participate in something, maybe join with another city next year, but this year,
Or,
let's take a break.
I'd even rather see us, instead of doing 4th of July when there's so many other things going on, maybe we have something at a time when nobody else is having anything. You know, we do, not 4th of July, no, maybe we do some fall festival or just maybe direct our funding toward another time that people wouldn't be so pulled in different directions, in the fall it wouldn't be as hot maybe, but maybe do something a little bit different.
Oh, we do have the amphitheater.
And that's it. See, once we had that, maybe we could do something in the amphitheater and direct those $30,000 for 11 minutes of drone show to something that everybody could enjoy.
I can get you a 20-minute fireworks show for $30,000.
I don't think that's worth it either. You can come down over on my street. My neighbors put off stuff. It wouldn't cost anything. Just, I imagine most everybody has some neighbor that does that. So maybe even that you just assume they didn't do.
That's a long weekend, people are traveling.
Yeah. So, I mean, what does anybody think? You'll chime in.
I agree, if it's putting a burden on our city workers already, you've already had low turnout, year in and year out, like it seems like not a good use of dollars.
Yeah, it's.
Well, I agree with not having it, but that means that, That was one of the events that we were cooking hot dogs. And,
Well,
so,
All games that come week.
yeah, there's plenty of time to.
if I get a little upset, I'm sure we can go cook somewhere else. But,
That's probably a game tonight, they let you hop right into the next one.
There's always something, kite day's coming up.
yeah,
Of course, they usually, they're,
The 11th of April?
the 11th of April.
Yes.
Your son gonna help us rap if we do that?
He has a shooting competition that morning, so maybe before the day's over, he'll
well,
show up.
you usually cook the hot dogs for that, don't you?
I did last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
We do have fishing tournament for
That's-
kids.
no, we don't, but I don't think we do. We do hot dogs, well, see, there you go.
No, we can.
Yeah,
But the point is that, we're not gonna do the 4th of July. So,
well, I mean, that seems to kind of be the consensus. but
my view.
Okay.
It's, I don't think it's really worth it.
Now, Bob was a grill master, but he's not here tonight, so he doesn't have a vote.
There's plenty of times we can go hot dogs and wrap hot dogs.
So she hands.
I mean, we need a vote to get the consensus going. Yeah,
Or on board, be great, so.
yeah, we just, yes, I mean, we'd like to hear from y'all. Anybody want to chime in on their thoughts?
I think the only thing, the point that Commissioner Pelletier had is that it's our 250th anniversary. So I think that's why he wanted to make sure we really considered it before we didn't do anything, because it's really important, our 250th birthday.
Well, I'm sure we can do a proclamation. Decoration.
Yeah, I mean, we put the banners, we'll put the banners up, I imagine that we put up the Veterans Day, we could do some decorating things and, we could do some different touches that wouldn't involve everybody doing something on actual 4th of July.
Is Cherry Street gonna be completed by then?
Next year, don't count.
The intersection of Janwood, so you can at least drive down the majority of it.
Maybe.
We can have the 2 blocks.
If we do it next year, that's 251.
So we could probably just second, some decorative, yeah, I mean, we can decorate it, we can do some, yeah, we can do some things without having to have something on that particular day.
Yeah. We can put flags on all our vehicles. Put a flag on the back of mine, like we do for Veterans Day.
Well, that was our last agenda item. Did anybody else want to say anything? Okay, I don't see anybody, so I don't want to cut anybody off. Okay, lots been going on. We'll go to commission comments. A lot's been going on these last 2 weeks. We had the day after our last commission meeting, we had a TPO meeting. In fact, thank you to, I know we have several citizens here that attended. We have at least one citizen that attended that isn't here tonight. So thank y'all for showing interest in coming out. I mean, y'all know there were quite a few things regarding Callaway on the agenda. One of the really good things, at the beginning of the meeting, I always ask the FDOT representative that's there, I always ask him, where do we stand on Highway 22? What can we do? What's it gonna take? Well, he had some more positive news this time, that they're trying to get them, there are 2 different pots of money, there's actually more than 2, but there are strategic intermodal system projects and there are non-strategic intermodal system projects. The SIS projects get funded easier. There's more money and they get funded easier. Up until this time, Highway 22 has been a non-SIS. They're looking at somehow combining Highway 22 with Star Avenue project and maybe that would make it eligible possibly for SIS funds, which means we may get some funding for Highway 22. So everybody say a prayer, keep your fingers crossed that maybe we're moving forward with Highway 22. And then some of the other things are, and y'all know there was some kind of heated discussion. We had the Beulah Sidewalk project for a transportation alternative project. And, you know, we were told, because city manager said it, we were told y'all had the only project submitted. You know, that'll be the one that's sent to the state. Well, then a few days later, after the deadline had passed, we're told that, well, Lynn Haven submitted their project late, but we scored it and blah, blah, blah. And we're going to submit it as the number 2. Well, the issue is with the state, they can, you know, they don't have to follow what TPO says. They can say, well, this project got more points, so we're going to flip them. So we had a very heated discussion about it. Ultimately, it ended up that both projects got sent in. Callaway's project was the number 1 project. It is a less costly project. So, I mean, things are in our favor. I know there's some other things being done behind the scenes to try to make sure that we get funding for the project. So I'll let you know when I hear of something else that, you know, I mean, we stood up, city manager, you know, he was traveling. He sent his message, you know, his statement to be read. Commissioner Griggs and I pushed for it, so we're trying, and hopefully that one's going to be funded and it won't be an issue. And then one other thing, and this is good news also, the long-range transportation plan, they are now adding, now, I mean, this is like the 2050 plan, but still, it's step number 1. They're adding Highway 22 from Star Avenue to 2297. Up till now, it was just from Tyndall Parkway to Star Avenue. Now they're going to extend that from Star up to 2297. So I think that was everything. Yes, the widening project. So that's going to be extended. So hopefully we'll get the first part funded, and then later on we'll get the other parts funded. But it feels like we're making progress. So the next thing, last Friday, was the Women Build. I participated in the Women Build over at the Habitat for Humanity Village. And the really good news, you know, they have 4 homes now. Bill Kramer sponsored the first one. Public sponsored the second one. Both of those are completed and there are families living in them. The 7 credit unions sponsored the one that's being worked on now, and now Public has come back and they are sponsoring another one. So those are 4 homes that have sponsors that will be done and families will move in. And then Saturday was opening day for baseball and softball. Jim and his crew did another outstanding job. The fields looked great. Everything was wonderful. We had, what did you say, over 600 kids that were signed up?
600 just in soccer.
Oh my gosh.
Baseball, I'm not sure what the number ended up, but somewhere around 250.
I was going to say, there were a lot of kids out there. The ones that were there, you know, there were a lot of kids out there on the field. But that was a lot of fun. And yesterday, city manager and I went up to the EOC. They are going to conduct a full-scale exercise to practice for, you know, some kind of disaster hitting this area so that all the cities can participate. Any cities that want to will participate, and you can test different segments of your city, different departments, whatever you want to do. So we're working with the group to put a scenario together and come up with some things to test. That'll be done probably in May sometime. And then last night, most of us attended the Bay County League of Cities meeting, where the speaker was the administrator for the new hospital that's being built on the beach. The good thing about that, my commander from out at Tyndall attended also, because he's concerned, you know, Tyndall doesn't have a hospital any longer. So anybody from Tyndall that needs medical care, they have to be, if it's, you know, something they need transported, they have to be transported to either Gulf Coast or Sacred Heart. So he was asking, you know, about medical treatment in this area. So we're actually setting up a meeting between the administrator for the new hospital, city manager, myself, and the colonel from Tyndall to see, you know, what are some options that we could maybe get for the east side so that we have medical treatment right here in our area. So hopefully that's something that will maybe come to fruition in the near future. And that's everything I have. So Commissioner Bergsdale, we'll go on to you.
Thank you, ma'am. So for the last few weeks, I've been fielding a lot of phone calls and emails from citizens about road problems, water outages. For the most part, whenever I had these, I've been able to get it over to Mr. Cook. It's been addressed pretty quickly. The citizens have had positive responses. I do have one spot that there was some flooding, that the road likes to flood when it rained hard the other day. I need to address with you. Okay. And some speeding that's been ongoing. We're talking about that. Have had a lot of positive results about the roundabout progress. Everybody is very pleased that that is moving along faster than anticipated. So, and I'd like to apologize for missing the opening day the other day as a former coach, but I was working as EMS that day, so I'm able to attend.
Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Briggs?
You missed it, but Commissioner Pelletier, I think, did throw the ball across the plate, and so did our mayor, Big Red.
What?
I saw a bounce on Pelletiers.
You saw a bounce on Pelletier?
Yeah, he bounced it over.
Oh, okay.
From my angle, I couldn't.
Mine didn't bounce.
No, yours was first.
Big Red was right there.
I have to hop through it.
Madam Mayor, you covered just about everything of what we've been doing, but I'm gonna add to it a little bit. On the TPO that we're part of and our citizens are part of, looking at Paul over there, Paul Moak. That's Bay County TPO, and we're representative of Callaway, but we make decisions based on everything. We just can't say we're only gonna make a decision if it benefits Callaway. But on that sidewalk situation where Lynn Haven was late, and by the way, you're probably the most informed, I think the most informed group of citizens, because we let you know everything, positive and negative. That was a situation that was going to look like it was going to be negative for us. But understanding the process, and we brought this up very clearly in the TPO meeting, that these recommendations go to the state, and then the state looks at certain things. And what they look at is the ranking that the TPO gives the project. We're allowed to submit 3 projects for our TPO. In this case, there were 2 projects where one was late due to a computer error or whatever the situation was. The state was actually telling us that that particular project was due to a state computer error timely. So what the TPO had to do is say, all right, we'll take a look at it. They scored the scoring that takes place. There are 3 things that take place, and one of them is the cost that the TPO looks at, the cost of the project, the scoring of the project with the various factors, and then we make a decision on what we're going to be submitting to the state. The key to us was that the TPO, regardless of the scoring, gave Callaway the #1 position. It also, Callaway has the #1 position, if you will, on dollars. So the state looks at the position of the recommendation and the amount of dollars. They don't do anything related to the scoring. That's up to us. That's up to the TPO to make that decision, and that's the state's position. So when this recommendation of these two projects went to the state, we were number one, and round numbers, we're 200,000 on the dollars. Glen Haven is number two, and what is it, four, almost 500,000 on the dollars. So what we were suggesting to the state, look at the ranking and look at the dollars, because very honestly, we're competing for part of only $3 million. And that's across all, what is it, 4 districts?
Yeah.
Four TPOs from here to the Alabama line. And so we think we're in a very good position on that. Particularly the state's looking at that. They don't look at the scoring. That was our job to look at the scoring. It's TPO. So I think we're okay with that. And also, Glen Haven, and I'll give them some credit, who had to give them credit before. Glen Haven realized what has taken place, and they actually made the motion, if I recall, I made the motion, that we have the scoring that way, and they totally agreed with it. So,
That's it?
that's it.
Okay.
I'm waiting for Eddie.
Commissioner Ayers?
Okay. It was, like the mayor said, it's been really busy, so I'll just run through this quickly. Attended the St. Andrews, St. Joe Bay Estuary Committee meeting. They also help with cleanups around the state, or around the community. The state park had a cleanup this weekend, and of course they participated with that. I couldn't go to that because I went to the opening ceremonies for baseball. I attended the FSU speaker series. Shannon Breen was there, Fox News. First Friday, we were briefed on the new FSU Health Panama City Beach hospital. And it's going to be a teaching hospital along with a huge facility. It was going to be 100 beds. It's now over 180. So it's going to be quite the hospital. Attended opening day. After that, I went to Habitat for Humanity, the women's build on Saturday, and I didn't actually build, I just helped supervise. So, and then attended the League of Cities and got a chance to put in a word with Andrew Starr. He's the administrator for that hospital, and hopefully we can get something out here in Callaway. And that's all I have.
City Clerk, do you have anything for us?
No.
City Attorney? You too, City Manager. Tell us all about it.
You don't want to get me preaching on the TPO and the state glitch, because it didn't exist. I already know.
Accept what you can accept.
I'm not done. I don't lose easy. The roundabout, we're probably a couple weeks off to having that one completed. We're waiting on signage and striping, and we'll get that intersection open as quickly as possible. Hopefully, we won't have to have the sheriff stand out there and hand out brochures on how to use it. Sandy Creek's still in environmental, waiting on the state, but they have been throwing RFIs left and right. We're getting those answered and getting them back quick. Also, we're still under the environmental for the spillway project, and it looks like that one's about to move through really, really quickly. So the lift stations, the 5 that we're redoing, we're about 3/4 of the way done. The second one, and then we'll be moving over, I believe, to the one up in front of Walmart that has the damaged fence. So that project's on time and running smooth. Hugh Thomas is, we had some planned outages. We had an outage today. They were actually doing the best they could. They were looking for a line with a post hole digger, but that glass pipe that we've got, he managed to hit it right square dead in the center, and it just split it right down the middle. We did get that restored by lunch, and I tell them don't put it on a shovel in the ground. So I think we're going to be okay to hurry up and get Hugh Thomas done. West Cherry Street sidewalk project, y'all seen they've been going really, really fast on that. We're about a month out. It's gonna take a little bit longer because as we get closer to Kendall Parkway, we run into some additional areas up there we gotta be real careful with. So, would like to tell y'all that we have been doing the audit this week. The auditors have been in. They're actually, I think they're done today, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they will not be coming back. So, we're waiting on the joint venture. They've done everything that they need through the city side of it, and we'll be waiting for that one. Speaking of audit, we did receive from the Government Finance Officers Association the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. This is for 2024. The audit that we're doing now is for 2025, and we will submit also. The great thing about it though is of course, this is under Mr. Schultz and everything, but this is the 8th year or 7th year. Is it 7th year in a row.
Yes.
Yes, this is the 7th year in a row that we've received that for our financial reporting.
It looks like, is it each year you just get a little round thing to add to it?
No, we filled out the other one.
Well, that's what I mean, where they keep adding to that.
Yeah, next year, they won't give us this nice thing, they'll just give us another little button to stick on there. But we filled our other one up, so they had to give us a.
City Manager, I'd like to point out that last year we didn't receive that is Hurricane Michael.
Correct.
That same year.
Yeah.
Well, and I think for a while, we didn't actually submit.
Correct.
There were for a couple of years that we didn't submit, and then we started submitting again.
That is correct. Last thing, we'll talk a little bit about Cherry Street and some other things that are going on. We're hoping to start, we're in the process of, as y'all know, at the last meeting. Kevin, thank you so much for presenting the need for us to go ahead and give that. There were some comments made. I want to clear a lot of stuff up about how that went down. So we have cast iron pipe underneath Cherry Street. It's old. In fact, it looks a lot worse than what we were expecting it to. When we exposed it and we saw it, we were like, we want to replace this. So internally, staff has been getting a list together of the materials. We were going to take that, cost it out, bring it back to the commission. Some of the commissioners, actually, I had told them it was going to be coming. Commissioner Harris was one of them that, I told him, I said, we need to really go ahead and replace all of the water line underneath Cherry Street. Another thing too is part of it's going to be underneath the street. We don't want that. We want to move it over under the sidewalk where if we ever do have an issue, we can just dig the sidewalk up and we can pour it back and it won't be an issue. So, if we're going to do this project, we need to do it, and we need to do it right. That means let's go ahead and while we're in there, we are going to do it all in-house. All we need to do is buy materials. So, actually what had happened was on that Tuesday morning of the last meeting, I got a phone call from our utilities supervisor, and he said that, hey, we ran into a major problem. When they were going through, they realized the pipe was not in the place that they thought it was going to be, and that pipe needed to be moved immediately. So we needed to move forward for that one section. We broke it out. I had a meeting with Ashley. We talked about our timeframes. We called in Kevin. We all discussed it and said the best way to do it was just through manufacturers locally that's going to be enough to supply us. We needed to have it done within 2 weeks, which is the bid period that we put it out, and then take 2 weeks to get it in. We would have delayed the project. Unfortunately, as much as the contractors have delayed us, it works both ways. If we delay them, it counts against us. So we opted to come forward with just that first section that we were unaware was in the way. And that's what happened at the last meeting, and we come forward. Now, the next phase that we're going to be looking at is we're going to go from Star Avenue all the way to Bertha. And we're going to replace that whole run of line. Basically, the way it's going to work is we've already got our materials list. Ashley is working on putting out a bid for it. It went out today, yeah. So we can get some pricing on it. We're expecting pricing to be around $200,000. But if we would have had a contractor put this in, the price would have been about $400,000 or $500,000 for them to do it, because all we need is the materials. Our guys are more than capable and chopping at the bit to go in and move this water line. What we're gonna do is, staff's gonna come back to this commission, and we're gonna ask y'all to, basically, this is an unbudgeted item, we want to take it out of impact fees. For multiple reasons. Number one, we lack some fire hydrants, and we need to add some additional fire hydrants in there. Chief has been adamantly working with Thomas on this. Also, another thing is this is, I believe it's a 6-inch in it, Bill?
Yeah, some on 6, some on 8.
So it's 6, I was like, we're gonna move this up to a 10-inch. This is gonna increase fire protection in that area, and Chief, I think you will attest, some of those areas definitely.
Very, very important, that area.
Yeah, we have some areas, so that being said, we're gonna be increasing the capacity size, increasing fire protection while we go through and do this.
So that makes it eligible for
Makes it eligible for impact fees, and we do have impact fees to cover this. So we're gonna come back to this commission, and we're gonna be asking y'all to approve a budget amendment to pull from our impact fee fund to pay for this, because it is an unfunded mandate. We're gonna go ahead and put it out and see what the costs come in. We expect it to be somewhere around $200,000 for that section. And then we'll come back and do the next section, which is gonna be, yeah, it's gonna go perfect 10. We're gonna go ahead and take it all the way down. That'll also loop that section. There's a break in that section right now that's not looped, but we will be able to loop this section out completely. With the main lines, one on Star, one on Tyndall Parkway. So I just wanted to get some of that confusion. This was not something that staff wasn't hiding anything. We were prepared to come and discuss it. I was going to actually talk to you about it at the last meeting. Unfortunately, when we realized that that line was in the way and the contractor said, what are you going to do with this? The only fix was to go ahead and do that section. So we broke it out that Tuesday morning, and of course, with me not being able to be here to explain it, it was kind of a difficult throwing it on Kevin at the last minute. Him and I was really understanding the full grasp of it, but knowing what we needed to do. You did fine, yeah. So that's what we're looking at now. This will go out for how long? A couple weeks?
14 days.
It'll go out for 14 days.
Close on the 24th.
And when's our next meeting?
But I couldn't,
We'll see.
guys, as soon as I could do it.
Yeah, okay. So on the 24th, we'll probably have a budget amendment in there so we can go ahead and purchase it. They're getting ready to move down to Star Avenue. We are working with the contractors, so that's actually keeping our labor costs down too. They've got the machines out there, and once they go through and they mill that section up, and it's gonna be all the way on, that section, water line's all the way on the south side, isn't it, Bill?
Yeah.
It'll be completely on the south side. And as they go, we're just gonna go right in front of them, and we're gonna go ahead and run that all the way down. We'll have controlled outages. In other words, we'll put the line in first, and then we'll take it like a street at a time, where we can actually go and make contact with each resident and say, hey, your water's gonna be off this day for approximately 20 or 30 minutes when we switch lines over, but they will be under a boil water notice. So that's kind of what our plan is right now. Other than that, you know, every time we put a shovel in the ground on Cherry Street, we find a new structure that we've never seen before. But we're going to continue on because we want this product to, when it's over with, this is going to be a destination street, and it's going to look real good, and it'll be something that these residents are proud of. And they won't have to mess with it for another 75 years. In other words, Tim, me and you ain't going to be here. We just have to take all the heat while it's going on.
5 years like that anyway.
Did I cover it?
Yes, you did. And it's very good that you can come up with, and legally come up with using impact fees for this. But this is also the situation that the infrastructure taxes could have covered
as
well. But you're limited on what you can do with the impact fees, but you have less limitations on the infrastructure. So being able to use the impact fees is great. So Good job, Kevin, y'all coming up with this.
What about oversizing it? Yeah, you can't just do normal operation and maintenance, but.
Yeah.
Also,
for future growth.
you know, this is kind of a shout out to staff that they've been recognizing they're staying ahead of the projects as they come forward. So we're gonna run into the same situation on Gay Avenue when we do that paving that's coming up. They've already went out and identified that some of these lines are so small, some of them are just 2-inch, that are feeding multiple houses. And some of it's, yeah, they're very, very small. They need to be 4 or better. And so we're gonna be we're looking at some placements right now, and we probably want to go ahead and replace the water lines now. Also, we'll do the service lines, all of our cross sections that have to go across, we'll lay that back on the ground, so when they do come back and do the overlay, we'll be ahead of the game on that. But it's just, once again, it's a fire issue. I mean, we just,
Well, like Kevin was saying, the real difference is that you're improving the situation. If you come back with the same size line and all that, but you couldn't use the impact rate, but by improving it, you can use it.
and we'll have it for future for, is it Miami Road Drive that makes the U? We need to go in there and replace that line. That line was replaced, you gotta remember, that was part of our, there was some questions in the beginning about that being on the lead service, but it wasn't lead pipe, it's cast. Once again, it's cast, but, we need, I think don't we need another hydrant in there?
We're talking about put one in there
Yeah,
also.
we need to put a hydrant on that circle because there's not one back there. There's just, as we go through and we see these needs, we're gonna be coming back and going, and so that we can justify this. It's just a matter of, we need fire protection in that area, so.
Well, I couldn't believe y'all came up with they had a 2-inch line in there. 2-inch line is like one fire hose.
Right, if someone flushes a toilet, it might affect my pumper. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
The car's over there.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to identify so we can get line sizes corrected and we can get new pipe on the ground. Because, you know, my number one thing is once a road gets paved, I do not want to see a road cut.
No.
That's all I got, unless you have any questions for me.
You cover everything y'all have.
Good job. One question, you talked about the lift station, right there, I guess for a Walmart, Whataburger. How much traffic impact will that have when they're working on it?
And they have an access service road that goes back up and they'll be doing everything from there.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and read the announcements. We have planning board meetings, it look like there will be a planning board meeting, okay? March 17th, that's next Tuesday. Historical Society, that's not Friday the 21st, it's the 15th.
The 22nd, I think.
It's the 15th.
It's 15th, so that's wrong, it's not March 21st, Historical Society meets on March 15th. Jeannie Weeks will be talking about yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I'm not sure if that's the title of her talk. I'm not sure what it's gonna be about. And then next commission meeting is March 24th, right here at 6 p.m. The Historical Society is in the museum at 2 p.m. that Sunday afternoon. So I'm not aware of anything else that's going on in the next 2 weeks. So that will bring us up to public participation. Who in the audience would like to speak on something we haven't already talked about?
One thing real quick. Chamber of Commerce is having a get-together on the 12th from 5 to 7.
To move to the 26th, do an implement.
26th.
Is that the
Okay.
block already?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
How about for
And moved to the 26th because of the inclement weather delay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and thank you, Mr. McCamber's here again from the chamber. So thanks for coming and supporting Callaway.
No problem, thank you.
And I saw somebody over here.
On the 21st, we have the Boater Safety Day at Core Park as boat ramp,
Okay,
9 a.m.
okay, that's what's March 21st.
Tim, would you mind explaining that real quick?
Yeah.
Yes, well,
Did you come to podium?
Yes, please.
Yeah, we'll be having a ribbon cutting for the life jacket motor station that we built over there. That's through a grant project, and that's supplied by the Coast Guard. And they'll also be doing boat safety inspections that day. And several people there from Marine Patrol and Coast Guard out there.
What time?
It starts at 9 a.m.
Yeah, don't be cutting up the water that day.
And we'll do a ribbon cutting probably right at 9 a.m. to life jacket station.
Okay, wonderful, thank you, Jim. Okay, does that cover any announcements? Looks like. Okay, we'll go to public participation, so who wanted to speak about something we haven't already spoken about? Ms. Langston? You're the only one raising your hand, so.
Teresa Langston, 6031 Lane Street. I attended the TPO meeting, and I just want to say that I appreciate Commissioner Griggs and Mayor Henderson and Mr. Cook for trying to stand up for the shenanigans that took place today. We're just going to go ahead and call it shenanigans because 2 years in a row for Lynn Haven, it is what it is. And it was clear that the other representatives from the different cities kind of catered to the shenanigans of Lynn Haven. And I can say that as a citizen because I've seen a lot of shenanigans come out of Lynn Haven, and other places. And I just want to make a statement because I know I made a statement about the last minute agenda item for the money for repairing the pipes. You made your explanation and you stated that, you weren't trying to hide anything, but you have to understand where it looks like on our end when some commissioners know about it, some commissioners don't. I fully believe that if one commissioner knows about it, I think all the commissioners need to know about it if there's a problem coming down the pipeline when you're gonna ask for thousands of dollars, that's not budgeted. So I just want to make that statement. I know that some of them, admitted to knowing. Some of them acted surprised, which I'm, don't know if they knew or not. But I think that all the commissioners need to know if there's a problem coming down. All of them should be treated equally when there are issues, and that's really not the case. It just seems like there may be some shady things that happen whenever, you plan and you talk to a couple of commissioners and you don't inform the other commissioners. I think that it should be transparent with all the commissioners if there's an issue.
Okay, thank you. Lester?
Actually, I wanted to, Karen Custer, 216 Line Road Drive. I wanted to bring something up because the fire chief is here. I've been told that fire trucks and emergency vehicles can reach a width of 104 inches. And when y'all approved Stillwater subdivision, the street in that subdivision is 22 feet wide. And our dinosaur was talking about letting people park in their lots. On their lawns if they had company and stuff. Well, if you parked two compact cars, which are 72 inches wide, on opposite sides of a 22-foot wide street, they're allowed to park 12 inches from the curb, and they each have mirrors on the inside part where a vehicle would travel through. Well, when you add up the 12 inches from the curb, the 72-inch cars, and the 12 inches for the mirror, your emergency vehicle would have to be 72 inches wide, or it couldn't fit down that street. So are our emergency vehicles 72 inches wide? That was the question.
No, they're a little bit wider than that.
So we have a problem with allowing street parking in 22-foot wide streets. So I wanted y'all to think about that because you might want to address it in the future for future orders. If it was 380 inches wide, you could park the widest street that's out there today, which would be the widest full-size truck is 80 inches. And there are some others that can be up to 102 inches. That's the legal maximum width of a passenger vehicle. And so I hope y'all will really rethink the streets the street lists in the subdivisions and not allowing on-street parking if they're, narrower than 32 feet. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Would like to say anybody? Well, I guess we are ready to adjourn. Somebody like to make a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, we will adjourn. Thank you all for coming. Take a cup of coffee with you on your way out if you'd like.